Hi everyone. I'm just getting ready to go downstairs and do my week's entry for Card-Spiration because I saw this really cool card and I have a beautiful wedding shower to go to this weekend. The young lady whose stamped napkins I did, her wedding shower is this weekend, so I want to go make her this card. But whenever I want to create and just kind of just immerse myself in card making and just, having fun, I always have supper lurking in the back of my head. So I had some pork tenderloins, those long strips, and they came in a package of 3. And then I had this eggplant in the fridge that was about to maybe one more day and I'd have to throw it away. So I thought, I Googled pork tenderloin and eggplant to see what I could come up with. And oh my goodness, I wish you could smell my house, how good it smells. So I've got this started. It's only been in the slow cooker now for about a half an hour, so it's bubbling away. But doesn't that look good? So all it is I browned the pork tenderloin in a frying pan, just browned both sides, kind of searing it, seasoned it. I threw in a large onion, finely chopped, and about 2 garlic cloves chopped up. Threw that in the pan, chopped up the eggplant, put that in, and so it was the meat, the eggplant, the onions, and the garlic. And then I put it all in the slow cooker. I just poured a whole jar of spaghetti sauce. They said to use tomato paste and tomato sauce and all the seasonings, but I thought, that's pasta sauce. So I had a jar of a really natural pasta sauce, so I threw that in here. And then they said a jar of sliced black olives, so sliced and pitted olives. So that's what those little black things are in there. If you could smell what this smells like, it is, oh my, divine is all I can say. So I can't wait till supper. And then I guess the pork will get sort of shredded a bit, and then you're to serve it over pasta. So yeah, if you're looking for an easy recipe, there's one right there. And then you can craft all day long and your supper smells like you're working so hard. And then one other thing, I don't know if any of you watch Dr. Oz, and he's been talking about this matcha tea that is supposed to speed up your metabolism. And I can vouch for it actually does speed up your metabolism because I've lost 3 pounds since I started drinking this last week. And I haven't really changed my eating that much. I was kind of at a bit of a standstill with weight loss. So I picked up at the Enjoy Center this matcha latte, and it's coconut, so it's matcha tea. And they also had, let me just grab the powdered matcha tea. It was in bulk. So one thing I love about that Enjoy Center, they have so many choices. So I bought this like this. This tea is really, can be very, very expensive, and it's just ground green tea powder, I guess. But the properties are that it other than a lot of health benefits, it boosts your metabolism. So yeah, I'm all over that. So this is what it looks like. It's kind of like you're drinking green slime, but it tastes really, really good, and it's got a really strong tea smell, very, very strong, so you don't need very much of it. So yeah, I just wondered if any of you had been watching Dr. Oz, that stuff is available. If you have Whole Foods in the US, you probably can find it there. But since we've got the Enjoy Center here and they carry so many unusual things, I'm so lucky it's just down the street. So I'm going to take my matcha latte and head down to my craft room and get ready for this week's card. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my Card-Spiration week 14. I found this beautiful card, actually it's not a card, it's a tag, on Pinterest, and I'm not sure if it was on Pinterest or if I pinned it from another blog. I'm not sure if you know, on Pinterest there's a little option where you can put this pin it symbol in your bookmarks, so then if you see something else while you're surfing the net that you really like and want to store it in your Pinterest folders, you can pin it yourself. So I think that's what this card is, or tag. But I'm going to make this into a card, and like I said earlier, I'm going to be making this for that young lady who I stamped the napkins for her shower card. It is so pretty. It uses Tim Holtz Sewing Room die cuts, and those are most of the elements in the card, and then lace, and there's a little pair of scissors here, and there's so much detail in this card. It's so pretty. So I'm creating this tag into a card. So I've started with the typical card base, 5.5 by 4.25, and it's a very light craft cardstock, so just folded it in your typical fashion. So I'll just put that aside for a second. Then I cut out a tag, the Tim Holtz die cut, using Tim Coffee paper. And this is, I'm sure you recognize this paper. This is the side I'm using for the tag. And I'm also going to add some text on top of that tag just to add some interest and some layering. And then this little piece here, it was from just a scrap piece I had. I cut it 1/4 inch smaller, and it's going to go inside like that. So first I'm going to start, I'm going to distress around the edges of the card and this piece, and I'm going to use, you know, where you distress the paper as well as inking it with distress ink, and throughout I'm using Vintage Photo and tea dye distress inks. So I'll get started distressing all of this stuff. So here is my distressed card front. So I didn't do like gentle distressing, as you can see. Like some of the paper, I used scissors to go around, and where it ripped it, I went with that and just tore it away from the card. And I used tea dye stain on this and on the card. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that much Vintage Photo, I'm not sure. And then my tag front, and here I tore the corner up because this tag is 6 inches. This card is 5.5 inches. So I'm going to be placing it at a little bit of an angle, kind of like that. So I still want it to be easily accessible as a card. So I sort of tore one angle up a little bit. So I'm just going to put the card part away and work on the tag. And I have all my embellishments here. I want to show you this vintage tin. I have never been a cigarette smoker. My entire family, 7 brothers and sisters, my parents, nobody cigarette smokes. But I saw this at a garage sale and I loved it. It's a vintage cigarette tin. And so I've got, I always need a little tiny dish to put all the little embellishments that you're working on with the card, because my desk gets so messy and then I spend half my time searching for it. So that's what I'm using this little tin for. I was going to alter it and paint it, but I have a feeling 10 years from now, cigarettes might even be illegal, and this might be worth something, so I don't want to mess around with it too much. But anyway, I'm going to start working on the tag. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this piece of lace here and glue that across the tag front like that. And then I am going to take some text and just rip some of it, you know, just any old way, and distress it with the ink and put it at a little bit of an angle on like that. So it's going to end up looking like that. And then I'm going to take the Tim Holtz sewing pieces here, and I am going to use distress ink on these. I'll use tea dye again on the spool, on the dress form, and on the button. I don't know if you can see them all. There they are. There we go. Okay, I finished a little bit on the tag, the distressing, so you can see how I added the lace on the top there, and I used my glue gun, and I don't think I'm going to tuck under the ends. I'm going to leave it freed. Just adds to the distress look. And then there's the text there, and it's glued down. I used my ATG gun, and I just kind of curled up the tag like I showed you before. Here is the button from the die cut, and I just put some twine in, distress this with both of those distress inks, and then I just ran the twine through distress Vintage Photo, so it had a little bit of distressing on it, and it's going to go about there. I don't want to adhere these down yet, those elements. And then next I'm working on the spool, And what I'm going to do is wrap some twine around it and then attach this little pair of scissors. They're so cute. It's a scissor charm. I got this from Christina on Cabot's YouTube user on here on YouTube. So thanks, Christina. So I'm going to attach that to that spool with the twine around, and it'll go about there. And then the dress form, in the original picture there, it had text up here and then a lacy skirt, and then I just found this scrap of text, so I'm going to just adhere that on there and distress it. Going to create a skirt out of this lace piece and this really pretty hem of little tiny. So I apologize, my camera battery died in the other camera. So I'm just about to build this card, so I'm on to using my iPhone to film it. So here's the card front, and then here's the tag here. So you can see I've tied some really pretty kind of a golden seam binding through there, and I've left it all wrinkled because it adds to the distressing. So I'm just going to put that on like that. I'm going to glue the button right on top of that lace. I am going to put my dress form with my pretty dress with the rosebud bottom and the script kind of at a bit of an angle, maybe like so. And then I'm going to take the little scissors spool and place it right down here. So I'm going to add a little bit of embellishments of black pearls here. And I also have one of these American roses, you know, the ribbon. I have a rose. I'm going to trim this rose down so it's small enough to fit in the center of the card there. And then add a little chocolate brown flat back pearl to that as well. So I'm finished up with my card here. So you can see how I mounted the dress form on with a pretty little skirt. And there's my rose. And I just used these little half back pearls there. And I just tucked one under there just for some detailing. There's our ribbon, seam binding, our little scissors, and our button. And I made another one because I thought if I'm going through all this work to make this, I'm going to make two of them. Such a pretty card if you want a distressed card and a really vintage looking card. And then for the inside, I used the same printed paper that I used on the very back of the card there, the one that's all distressed, this one. And again, I inked around it and distressed it. And then I found a really nice quote inside of that Sentiments magazine, and it said, "I hope your dreams bring you to the corner of your smiles." So I hand wrote with my Tim Holtz Distress pen, the fine tipped one, "I hope your dreams," and then for the bring you part, because I wanted to give it a little bit of a stamped element, I had this stamp that says, "Share the moments that bring you joy." So I just stamped the bring you right there, and then continued on to the corners of your smiles, and then took 3 little half back pearls and put them in the inside. So there's my Card-Spiration for this week. And here is the matching one. This one, I only had one pair of scissors, so I put a little key for that thread. So I hope you like it, and thanks a lot for watching. And I have a special guest in my craft room today, and it's my mom. She came for a visit.
Hi there.
And she's just whipped up a card for the shower. So can you show us your card?
Okay.
Look how pretty this is. And she thought she didn't do a good job. I'll bring it in the light.
Thank
Look
you.
at how pretty her card turned out. Isn't that nice? So she's also going to the shower, and we're going to go tomorrow and get our gift. And so I told her I made that yummy supper upstairs. So told her to come over and have a sleepover. We'll make some cards and go shopping tomorrow. So thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Oh, and her card was inspired from this picture right here in Wedding Creations. And what year is this? I don't even know. But anyway, it had a whole bunch of wedding and shower cards in here. So I said, you know what? Why don't you just whip up a card? So that was her inspiration. I don't know where it is now. But anyway, thanks a lot for watching, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.